Ever wondered, what can landlords legally ask for? Well, you're in the right place. Today we're going to embark on an enlightening journey into the world of landlords' rights. This topic holds significant relevance not just for landlords, but for anyone who has ever or will ever encounter the realm of property rental. Knowing your rights as a landlord is crucial. It serves as the cornerstone of a well-managed property and a balanced tenant-landlord relationship. It's about understanding how to protect yourself and your property while respecting the rights of your tenants. It's about navigating the legal landscape with confidence and savvy, ensuring you're not left vulnerable to potential pitfalls. So why should you care about landlords' rights? Because knowledge is power, and in the property rental game, it can be the difference between smooth sailing and choppy waters. So fasten your seatbelts as we delve into the world of landlords' legal rights. Before we dive in, let's clarify some legal terms you'll come across often in this discussion. First up is the lease agreement. This is a legally binding document that outlines the terms and conditions of the rental agreement between the landlord and tenant. It includes details like the length of the tenancy, the monthly rental amount, and the responsibilities of both parties. Next, we have tenant rights. These are the legal protections provided to renters under local, state, and federal law. Tenant rights can vary greatly depending on where you live, but they generally include things like the right to a habitable home, the right to privacy, and the right to be free from discrimination. Speaking of discrimination, let's talk about fair housing laws. These laws were established to prevent landlords from discriminating against potential tenants based on things like race, religion, gender, familial status, disability, or nationality. In the United States, the Fair Housing Act of 1968 is the primary law that regulates this. Also crucial is the security deposit. This is an amount of money a landlord can ask for upfront as a kind of insurance against any potential damage to the property or unpaid rent. The rules around security deposits, how much can be charged, when it must be returned, and so on, can differ from one jurisdiction to another. Lastly, let's discuss eviction. This is the legal process by which a landlord can remove a tenant from their property. It's not as simple as just telling someone to leave. There are specific legal procedures that must be followed, and tenants have certain rights even in this situation. These terms, lease agreement, tenant rights, fair housing laws, security deposits, and eviction, are the building blocks of any conversation about landlords' rights and responsibilities. Each one is a piece of the larger puzzle, and understanding them is crucial to fully grasping the topic at hand. Now that we're clear on the basics, let's move on to what landlords can legally ask for. So what exactly can landlords legally ask for? Just as tenants have rights, landlords too have legal rights that empower them to make informed decisions about the people they rent their properties to. One of the key rights landlords have is the right to ask for proof of income. Why, you ask? Well, it's simple. They need to ensure that the prospective tenant can afford the rent. It's a reasonable request, isn't it? A landlord doesn't want to find themselves in a situation where they're chasing down rent payments month after month. Next up is the right to check a tenant's credit history. This provides the landlord with a snapshot of the potential tenant's financial behaviors. Have they been dutifully paying their bills, or are they neck-deep in debt? This information is crucial for landlords to assess the risk of non-payment or late payment of rent. Landlords also have the right to delve into a potential tenant's rental history. This can give them insights into the tenant's previous behavior, such as whether they've been evicted before, or if they've been responsible for property damage. After all, past behavior can often be a good indicator of future behavior. Lastly, landlords can ask for references. These could be from previous landlords, employers, or even personal contacts. References can provide a more rounded picture of the tenant's character and reliability, which can be invaluable when deciding whether to rent to them. These rights to ask for proof of income, credit history, rental history, and references are not just about protecting the landlord's financial interests. They are also about ensuring that the tenant-landlord relationship is built on a solid foundation of trust and responsibility. Remember, being a landlord is not just about collecting rent. It's about managing a business and maintaining a positive, professional relationship with your tenants. These rights enable landlords to do just that, reducing the risk of potential issues down the line. These rights are just the tip of the iceberg. Let's delve deeper. Did you know that landlords also need to adhere to fair housing laws? Yes, indeed, landlords are not exempt from the rules of fair play. Fair housing laws are designed to protect tenants from discrimination, and they have a significant impact on what landlords can and cannot ask. Let's dive into some of the things landlords cannot ask. At the top of the list, landlords cannot ask questions that discriminate based on race. Federal law prohibits this as part of the Fair Housing Act. This means that landlords cannot make decisions about renting based on a person's race. So, questions like, "What's your race?" or "Are you of a certain ethnic background?" are off the table. Religion is another area where landlords must tread carefully. The Fair Housing Act also prohibits discrimination based on a person's religion. So landlords cannot ask questions like, "What is your religion?" or "Do you observe certain religious practices?" Landlords are required to respect the religious beliefs and practices of their tenants. Next, let's talk about marital status. Landlords cannot discriminate against someone because they are married, single, divorced, or separated. This means that landlords cannot ask questions like, "Are you married?" or "What is your marital status?" Doing so could be seen as an attempt to discriminate. In addition to these, there are other areas where landlords must be cautious. These include disability, familial status, and even nationality. The key here is that landlords must not use these factors as a basis for refusing to rent, setting different terms or conditions, or providing different housing services. In summary, landlords must be aware of and adhere to fair housing laws. They need to ensure that their questions and actions do not discriminate against potential tenants. It's not just about knowing your rights as a landlord, it's also about respecting the rights of your tenants. So while landlords have rights, they also have responsibilities towards ensuring fair housing. It's a balance that must be maintained for a harmonious landlord-tenant relationship. As a landlord, it's crucial to protect your rights. Now, let's delve into how you can safeguard these rights. A key tool in your arsenal is a solid lease agreement. This contract between you and your tenant sets the ground rules for the tenancy. It lays out the terms and conditions, such as the length of the lease, the rent amount, and each party's responsibilities. It's your first line of defense, so make sure it's comprehensive and legally sound. Next, regular property inspections are essential. While it's important to respect your tenant's privacy, you have the right to ensure that your property is being well maintained. Schedule these inspections in advance, follow the laws of your jurisdiction, and record your findings. This way you can address any issues promptly and avoid potential disputes down the line. Now, let's talk about record keeping. It's not the most glamorous part of being a landlord, but it's absolutely crucial. Keep track of everything. Rent payments, repair requests, lease agreements, inspection reports. You never know when you might need to refer back to these documents. They can be invaluable in resolving misunderstandings or defending your rights in a legal dispute. Lastly, remember that the law can be complex and ever-changing. When in doubt, don't hesitate to consult with a legal expert. They can provide guidance on your rights and responsibilities, help you navigate tricky situations, and ensure that you're complying with all relevant laws and regulations. It's an investment that can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. In conclusion, protecting your rights as a landlord involves a combination of proactive measures and diligent record keeping. It requires understanding the law and seeking expert advice when needed. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed about your rights as a landlord. In conclusion, landlords have a range of legal rights, but also responsibilities. Let's take a moment to revisit the key takeaways from our chat. We dove into the rights landlords have when seeking information from prospective tenants. These include the ability to ask for proof of employment, income verification, and references from previous landlords. But remember, it's crucial to respect the privacy of your tenants. We then navigated the maze of fair housing laws. These laws prohibit discrimination based on race, religion, sex, or disability. Understanding these laws is key to maintaining a fair and legal rental process. Lastly, we talked about how to protect your rights as a landlord. This involves keeping clear records, ensuring your contracts are watertight, and staying updated on changes in legislation. And that's a wrap on What Can Landlords Legally Ask For? We hope you found this information valuable. Stay tuned for more informative content.